So we're starting in a standing position today. It's coming to your mat, coming to your feet in a comfortable position. Let's bring one hand to our heart and one hand to our belly. I invite you to close your eyes and just spread your toes, getting nice connection to the earth. Taking some nice deep breaths, connecting to your breath. So the next 45 minutes are with some self-care, some beautiful yoga and a nice savasana, focusing on our breathing. So as we're moving into a little bit more warmer weather, a little bit more light coming through to spring, I thought we'd make our theme of our practice today gratitude. So as you move through, thinking about all the things you're grateful for, your health and your family, and all the things that you enjoy in life. Let's take 6 deep breaths, really tuning into the breath and the rise and fall of your chest and your belly. Three more breaths. All right, let's bring our hands to our heart center. And then inhale, bring your hands up nice and high. Hi, Carolyn. Stretching up, looking up. Take your feet a little wider. As you exhale, come to one side and feel the stretch down the side of your body. Inhale back to center and exhale to the other side. Thank you all for being here today. We've got 6 of us, which is really nice. So we increase our own vibration and everybody in the group, as well as all the people that we touch during the day in our daily lives. Let's go one more to each side. And coming back to center, bring your feet a little bit wider. Slight bend in the knees and bring your hands down to your legs and slowly sliding your hands down your legs down to the ground. And then heel toe your feet a bit wider. So you've got the weight of your body on the outside edge of your feet and let the crown of your head point down to the mat. And this is our first inversion for the day. So this is a wide-legged forward bend. Allow your body to just relax into this forward bend inversion. Coming back to your breath and connecting with the stretch down the back of the legs and the lower back. You can leave your hands on the ground or you can fold them. Just put a little bit more stretch into it. Let's take a few more breaths here. So inversions are great to lift your mood. We were doing some of these last week. You look at the world in a different way when you're upside down. One more breath, and then bring your hands to the ground. Walk your hands forward and stretch out through the back. And then come down to the mat, come down to tabletop position. Let's inhale and lift up our chest, raise our gaze, and exhale, nod your chin in and lift your spine up towards the ceiling. We'll run through cat and cow, just using your breath to initiate the movement. We're warming up the spine. And I invite you to bring your fingers out to the sides and let's move our body in a circle. So you're getting a little bit of a stretch through the tendons in your arms and your wrists. And then point fingers in and moving around in a circle, stretching the tendons in the arms. And if it's comfortable for you, point one hand or both hands back towards your body. just tiny little circles, just getting a nice stretch through there. And then point your fingers back forward again. Take your knees out to the outside of the mat and exhale, bring your bottom down to your heels and bring your forehead down to the mat. So we're coming into child's pose. Let's take a few breaths here. And each time you exhale, bring your forehead a little closer down to the mat and connect with the stretch through the lower back and the shoulders. And one more breath. And then inhale, come back up to tabletop. We'll do some shoulder stretches here. So we'll bring the right hand towards the middle of the mat. Inhale, lift up the left hand and look up to the left thumb. Into thread the needle. Exhale, bring the left hand under the right and slide the right hand forward as you bring the left shoulder and ear down towards the mat. Connect with the stretch through the left scapula. Let's take a few breaths here. And then inhale, come back up to tabletop. This time, move the left hand towards the middle of the mat. As you inhale, lift up the right hand, looking up to the right thumb, stretching through the chest. And exhale, thread the right hand under the left. And take the left hand forward, bring the right ear and shoulder down to the mat. And take a few breaths here, noticing the stretch through the right scapula. And one more breath. And then coming back up to tabletop. We're going to do some alternate leg and arms. So we're going to inhale, we'll lift up the left leg and point the heel towards the back of the mat and lift up the right arm. So we're reaching out with the fingertips, squeezing through the buttocks. Exhale, bring the knee and the hand back to the mat. And then inhale, go to the other side. So lengthening through the heel and the fingertips, squeezing the buttocks. Exhale, back down. Let's do a couple more on each side. That's it. Looking towards the top of your mat, so you've got a nice long spine. And we'll do one more on each side. And then coming back to tabletop, we're going to do a little flow between coming into child's pose. Inhale, lift up through the chest. Bring the hips forward into upward dog. Let's continue on for a few more rounds. Exhale into child's pose and inhale into upward dog. Let's go one more round. And then coming up back to tabletop, we're going to do lizard pose next. So we're going to lift up our right foot and place it next to our right hand. Slide the left knee back a little bit and feel the stretch through the front of the left hip. And inhale, lift up the right hand. So coming into twisted lizard. You can keep both hands on the mat if that's better for your shoulders. Take a couple breaths. And then exhale, bring the right hand down and bring the right knee back to the mat. And then take it to the other side. So left foot next to the left hand. Slide the right knee back a little bit. Bring the hip forward. Inhale, lift up the left hand and come into twisted lizard. One more breath here. And then bring the left hand down as you exhale. Bring the right knee back to the mat. We'll take the flow a little more this time. We're going to go between downward dog and upward dog. So we're going to exhale, come up to downward dog, pressing the heels down towards the mat. Walk your hands a little bit forward and then inhale, bring your hips through and come to upward dog. And then exhale back to downward dog. So feeling that stretch down the back of the hamstrings and a little bit of shoulders. Inhale as you come to upward dog. And then back to tabletop. Coming back to downward dog and take your feet wide. So we're going into a wide-legged forward bend and walk your hands underneath you. Allow your crown of your head to point down to the mat. The weight of your body is on the outside edge of your feet. So coming into this nice inversion, taking a couple of breaths here. Just noticing where you're feeling this stretch, especially in the lower back and the back of your legs. And lifting up through the hip, chest. Walk your hands forward, stretching through the back of the spine, and then heel toe your feet a little close together and slowly coming up to standing. Nice, and then give your body a little shake. Okay, let's do a couple of sun salutes. So we're coming to the top of our mat. Our feet close together. Inhale, lift up our arms and look up. Exhale, fold forward. Bring your hands down to the mat and then step back into plank. Slowly lower your body down to the mat as you exhale. Untuck your toes. Inhale, lift up through the chest to upward dog. And then exhale into downward dog. Step forward to forward bend. Inhale, lift up through the chest. Exhale, hug your chest into your legs. Stretching the back of the legs. Slight bend in the knees. Inhale, come all the way back up to mountain pose and hands to heart center. Let's take a couple of breaths here, just settling down our breath. These ones are a little bit more vigorous. And let's go for another round. So inhale, reaching up nice and tall to mountain pose. Exhale, folding forward and step back into plank. As you slowly lower your body down to the mat, untuck your toes. Inhale, lift up to upward dog, tucking toes under, coming into downward dog as you exhale. Step forward. Inhale, lift the chest. And exhale, hug the chest to the legs. And then inhale, come all the way back up to mountain pose and hands back to heart center. Nice work. Give your body a little shake. Let's come into some balancing poses. We'll do tree pose today. So we're going to open up our toes and our right foot, move our hips in a little circle so we get in touch with the contact points under the right foot, bending the left knee and then bringing the foot in either below the knee or above it, not on the knee. Knee out to the side. Bring your hands to heart center and find your drishti point. So let's slow things down. Taking some nice breaths here. Noticing your right ankle and your right leg, just balancing your body. Let's take one more breath here. And then relax. Bring the left foot down to the ground. Give your legs a little shake. And opening up the toes on the left foot and moving your hips in a little circle. And bring the right foot either below the knee or above the knee. Knee out to the side, slightly behind you. Find your drishti point and bring your hands to heart center. And coming back to your breathing. Slowing everything down, coming back to a point of balance. Let's take one more breath here. And then relax. Give your legs a little shake. Okay, we're going to come down to the mat now. Oh no, so we'll stand up, stay up, upright. We'll come to the back of the mat and we'll step forward with the right foot. And inhale, lift up our arms and come into warrior one. Noticing the stretch through the left hip, looking up and reaching up. One more breath and then take the right hand forward, left hand back, reaching through the fingertips, squeezing the shoulder blades, nice and strong through the right leg. Then take the right hand behind you, lengthen out the right leg, clasping your hands behind your back and lifting up through the chest, squeezing the shoulder blades into humble warrior. Connecting with the stretch through the right hamstring in the shoulders. One more breath here. And then releasing your hands down to the mat. If you have a block, place the block next to the right foot and put your right hand on it. Inhale, lift up the left hand. Come into triangle pose, looking up towards the left thumb. Feeling the stretch through the chest and through the right hamstring. Let's take a couple of breaths here. And then exhale, bring the left hand down and then come back up to standing and step back to the back of the mat. Give your shoulders a little shake and your legs a little shake. Step forward with the left foot. Inhale, lift up through the chest. Raise your arms, raise your gaze. Tuck your hip under. Really reaching up as high as you can and feel the stretch through the right hip flexor. Let's take a couple more breaths here. And then take the left hand forward, right hand back, lengthening through the fingertips, keeping the left leg nice and strong. Feeling it in the left thigh, squeezing the shoulder blades, lengthening the fingertips. This is warrior two. One more breath. Then bring the left hand behind you, lengthen out the left leg, clasping your hands behind your back, folding forward and then lifting up through the chest and lifting your hands off your lower back. Feeling the stretch through the left hamstring and through the shoulders. Humble warrior. One more breath. And then release your hands down to the mat. If you've got your block there, place the left hand on the block and inhale, lift up the right hand, looking up to the right hand and feeling that stretch through the chest and through the left hamstring. Let's take a couple of breaths here. This is triangle pose. And then exhale, bring the right hand down and come back up to standing to the back of the mat. Give it a little shake. From here, let's go into yogi squat. So we're going to take our feet, pointing the toes out a little bit, and our feet are about hip width apart. And we're going to bring our hands to heart center, keeping the chest up nice and tall, and we're going to come down into a deep squat. So come down to where it feels comfortable for you. And keeping the chest up. If you're down low, you can use your elbows to slightly push out on the inside of the knees and feel that opening through the hip area. Try and let your heels come down towards the mat. Let's take two more breaths here, nice and strong. And then release your hands down to the mat and come down to the mat, laying on your back, hugging your knees to your chest. And I invite you to roll your lower back in a circle, just loosening any stress you might have in the lower back area. Let's take our right foot to the mat and bend the left leg and then hug both knees to the chest. You can hold on to the left leg, or you can reach through the gap in the middle to the right shin or the right thigh, depending on how flexible you are. Allow your shoulders to come down to the mat. And let's take a few nice deep breaths here, coming back to the theme of our practice, gratitude and celebrating the change of the season, coming into spring with more light, more warmth, longer days. All the flowers starting to come out, jasmine's coming out at the moment. Taking a couple more breaths here. And then release your hands. Bring the right foot down to the mat. Keep the left leg bent. Use the right hand to draw the knees to the right side as you gaze towards the left. Lift your left arm straight out from your shoulders. Coming into a twist. Each time you exhale, bring the knees a little closer to the ground on the right side. And feel the stretch through the left side of the body, through the left glute, and massage through the internal organs. Let's take one more breath. And as you inhale, bring your knees to center and uncross your legs and cross them on the other side. And then hug your knees up to your chest and reaching through the gap in the middle, either to the left shin or the left thigh or the right shin. Shoulders down to the mat. I invite you to close your eyes. And as you breathe, each exhale, hug everything a little closer. We're releasing any tension we might have in the lower back here. Let's take a couple more breaths. And then release your hands, bring the left foot down to the mat. Use the left hand on the knees and bring them to the left side. As you gaze to the right side, right hand is straight out from your shoulders. So coming into a nice twist on the right side. Focusing on your breath. And each exhale, just bring the knees a little more to the left side. And notice the stretch through the left side as well as a nice massage on the organs. One more breath. And then inhale, bring knees to the center, uncross them and just hug them to your chest, rinsing out the spine. You might roll from side to side or in a circle, just rinsing out the spine. And then let's place our heels on the ground, close to the buttocks. Inhale, lift up through the hips. And bring your hands underneath you and clasp them. Walk your shoulders a little closer together. So coming into bridge, pressing through the knees, squeezing the buttocks and nodding your chin into your chest. Feel the stretch through the front of the hips. Let's take a couple more breaths here. And then exhale, release. Hug your knees up to your chest again, rinsing out the back. And then reaching through the center of the knees to the outside edge of your feet and lift your soles of your feet up towards the ceiling into happy baby, flattening out the lower back. And take a few breaths here. And coming back to what you're grateful for in your practice. You might like to massage your feet a little bit while you're here. And then exhale, bring your feet back down to the mat. Heels in close to the buttocks. And then inhale, lift up through the hips again, coming into another bridge. Bring your hands underneath you, clasping them, walking your shoulders close together. And then press up through the heels, squeeze the buttocks, nod the chin into the chest. Let's hold this for a couple of breaths. And then releasing your hands, slowly bring the spine back down to the mat. Hug your knees up to your chest. Circling your ankles. And then from here, we're going to go into our legs up position. So you might like to move close to a wall or a piece of furniture, or you can place a block or a pillow or blanket underneath your lower back, or you can come into a shoulder stand. So as you inhale, lift up your feet. If you're coming into shoulder stand, you're using your hands to hold your hips up and using your elbows to support you. Giving your ankles a nice circle, going one way and then the other. Give your legs a little shake. And then take your feet out to the sides like a starfish. Coming back to the breath. And then bending your knees, bringing your soles of your feet together like a butterfly. Coming back to the breath. And then inhale, lift up the feet nice and tall. And you can stay here if you wish, or you can bring your feet over your head towards the ground behind your head into plow pose. Releasing your hands to the mat. Taking a couple more breaths here. And then on the next inhalation, slowly bring the spine back down to the mat. And bending your knees and bring your feet down to the mat, just moving your hips from side to side. And then come to a comfortable position for Savasana. So laying on your back, you might like to have your knees bent so you get some support on the lower back. If you have some socks or a blanket, you can put them on. Just taking a couple of deep breaths, relaxing your body into the mat, feeling the energy of the earth underneath you, supporting you in your yoga practice. So you've had a lovely lot of movement with your asana, and now we're going to just relax and enjoy the beautiful yogic energy that we have created. Just taking some nice deep breaths, relaxing into the mat. Imagine the energy of the earth enveloping you as you relax in your Savasana. Just closing your eyes and enjoy the beautiful relaxation. We're going to stay here for a few minutes, just in silence. Noticing the energy of the earth underneath you, supporting you in your practice. Noticing your breathing without controlling it in any way, just breathing in and out. Notice all the points of contact you have with the earth. Your heels, the backs of your legs, lower back, upper back and shoulders, and your arms and head. Without opening your eyes, imagining the four walls in the room that you're in, the windows, ceiling and the roof. Noticing the feeling of anything that's touching you, any props, blankets. Gently wiggling your fingers and toes. Stretching out the hands and the feet. When you're ready, slowly rolling to one side. And while you're there, I'll give you a little quote for gratitude today. Enjoy the little things, for one day you may look back and realize that they were the big things. When you're ready, coming to a comfortable seated position and bringing your hands to heart center. Thank you all for being here today, practicing yoga together, increasing our vibrations and all of us as a group, as well as everybody that we come in contact with. Let's bring our hands to our forehead for kind thoughts, to our lips for kind words, and to our heart for a kind heart. Namaste.